Those magnets that I have. Of Hallie Wolf Art Glass and Wabi Jewelry.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Hallie Wolf Art Glass, and your business.
All right, Hallie Wolf Art Glass is my husband and my business. We have been in business now together for 19 years. I dated myself. Down at the market for 18.
How do you think your business does, just generally?
I think my business does pretty damn well. It's my overhead that kills me.
Do you believe that the Saturday market is a good outlet for your business and what you're selling?
I think it's fantastic outlet for my business and what I'm selling. Absolutely.
Do you have a storefront or a website apart from just
we have a website and we sell to gift shops and galleries throughout the nation. In past years we've done big East Coast wholesale shows as well, pick up the galleries and the gift shops. Also done art shows all throughout the U.S.
That's amazing. Is this your only location, or do you set up at other Saturday markets around Oregon?
Currently this is our only location. And then, you know, gift shops and galleries.
Does this compare well to other jobs that you've had in the past, or do you like this better, or do you like it less than you did?
I like it way better. Much better, definitely.
Is this your sole form of income?
This absolutely is, and has been for the last 18 years.
So Randy, we'd like to start out with you maybe telling us a little bit about yourself and how long you've been working with wood and stone and making instruments.
I started making the native flutes roughly 26 years ago, back in '87, and it's a traditional Native American style. Since then I've started doing other things like the stones, carving stones, and like Columbus. I've been doing those about 15 years.
What prompted you to start with the Native American flute?
I just ran across them when I was at a show somewhere, and I saw this guy who had flutes and he had little cassettes that he was playing the music that he made. And I bought a cassette and listened to it over and over, and the music really sort of infected me. And now I've been playing them for all these years. It's kind of a meditation, and that's my earlier background that I was a monk for most of the 70s.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
And so coming into this was like another way to meditate, but in a different way that I could recreate and send around to other people to experience.
So your main goal of this whole booth is to really pass on the meditation that you felt?
Absolutely, yeah. For everyone to reach that space where they feel peace and a connection to their true self, which is love. And my job in the world is to express love in as many ways as possible.
Have you held a traditional job before?
Oh sure, yeah, I've had all kinds of employment over the years. I owned a custom framing shop just before I did the flute work, which I sold and moved to Oregon.
Did you prefer that job to this job, or do you prefer this job to that job?
No, this is much. I mean, I'm my own boss, and I've been that way. I wouldn't really want to work for anybody else, although I don't mind being subservient. But this really gives me the ability to express who I am in the world.
Is your booth here the only booth that you have?
It's the only one I set up every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, over 20 years now. So.
Over 20 years, wow.
And I work all week to produce products that I bring here on Saturdays and Sundays.
Is your revenue from here your sole source of income?
I get Social Security now for the last couple of years, but otherwise this is the only source of income.
Do you sell your products anywhere else but here?
This is the only place I sell them. I like to do it personally. I do have a website, which is silvermoncreations.com. It's not, you can go there and there's a buy now function, but there's a way to look at all my products, a connection to me that we can talk about what it is you want. To me, it feels like it needs to be personal, and so I like to introduce it personally in this way, rather than click a button and we just send you something. I want to know what you are and what you want, how it fits you.
Oh, thank you very much for your interview.
Yeah, let me give you a couple notes of flute music.
We would love that.
All right, this is a key of G.
So just tell us a little bit about yourself and your business.
Okay, my name is Kurt, and I'm one of the owners of Red Tree Farm. Heirloom Produce we do with the farm. We do goat milk soap, heirloom produce, and teach classes and workshops. Right now at the Saturday Market we're doing just the goat milk soap and lotion, all made with the milk from our goats, natural ingredients, made to be an alternative to basically the petroleum-derived detergents they sell in the grocery store. At the farmers markets we also do eggs, microgreens, about 35 varieties of fruits and vegetables, and we teach soap making and cheese making classes year-round.
So we're at the Saturday Market right now. Apart from the Saturday Market, where else are you set up?
We're also, we have about 6 retail establishments that we sell at, and we do the People's Co-op Farmers Market, the Woodstock Farmers Market, and usually 1 or 2 other farmers markets, depending on what we have available.
Do you have any websites or a storefront of your own?
No. Right now, we do orders through phone and email. We don't have a website set up. And we're way too far out in the boonies to have a storefront on the farm. There'd be no one to cater to.
What prompted you to begin the goat milk soaps and the produce?
I've been doing produce for my whole life. The soap we started making so we'd have something to wash my daughter with. She's got the most sensitive skin of anyone I've ever met. And we just could not find anything that didn't give her a rash, so we've always got extra goat milk on hand. We started making the soap. Worked for her, worked for the rest of our customers at the markets, and now it's kind of snowballed into its own side business.
Does this compare favorably to any other jobs you've had in the past?
This beats the tar out of any other job I had in the past, otherwise I wouldn't do it.
Is this your sole source of income currently?
Yeah, that's for the last 6 years.
Would you ever be interested in mass producing any of your products?
Definitely not. Absolutely never. No, that's just completely beside the point.
So you enjoy selling in small quantities to people close to you?
Exactly. We serve our local community, and the product we produce really can only be done on a small scale. That's the niche we've carved for ourselves. The scale I work on, I can't compete with large farms. I can't compete with big production houses. So instead we try to make something that is specifically small scale, specifically handcrafted. And that's the niche that we occupy.
Well, thank you so much for your time.
Cheers.
So James, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I live right here, and I'm a sophomore here at Portland State University, studying environmental studies and business. In my free time, I like to run, volunteer, and read, I guess.
So tell us about your job at Tabor Space.
Tabor Space is a 501c3 nonprofit, which they take in volunteers to essentially train them to be baristas, because in Portland it's really hard to get barista training experience and to even get jobs for that matter. So what they do is they take mostly students and kind of just teach them the essentials of how to run a cashier, how to make drinks, how to prep food that they'll see in the cafe, so that they can interact with customers and know a little bit more than just knowing how to make drinks and go into a different cafe.
Would you say that you enjoy what you're doing right now?
Yeah, I really like it. It's a lot of community development, a lot of interactions with the customers. Even though you don't get paid for it, I think that the skill sets that you obtain from volunteering there are well worth. It's a good compensation for not getting paid.
Do you feel like the monetary income, although not as steady as normal jobs would be, is worth it?
Well, we get, as a barista, you get paid through tips, and because this cafe, Tabor Space, is placed right in the center of Mount Tabor, which is a pretty family, community-oriented neighborhood. So a lot of the people that come in are regulars, and they know how the cafe works. They know it's a nonprofit. They know that everyone there is a volunteer, and it's a pay what you want basis. So some people might pay more, some people might pay less. So it kind of makes it reaches a nice equilibrium, and they usually tip the baristas about 25 cents to $1 with every meal. So if you think about it, every time I make a drink for someone or take somebody's order, I'm getting roughly 25 cents for each transaction. At the end of the day, you're not making minimum wage, but you're still getting a little bit of income. So for me, I mean, I'm getting skills that are really hard to obtain here, and I'm also getting some pay for it.
Are you hoping that this job at Tabor Space will give you the experience to transition into a more corporate job like a Starbucks?
Personally, I don't want to work at a Starbucks, but I do want to transfer to another cafe, because I think barista service is a really good job setting to learn people skills. You're constantly interacting, you'll have consistent regulars that will come in, and I think being able to interact with people on that type of level is something that will hold greater value when you transition into a more professional lifestyle.
How does this job compare to your other jobs previously?
I've actually never have worked a minimum wage paying job. I did have a paper out for about 4 years, but that's paid by month. So no matter how many, well, I guess it depends on how many houses you're doing, but you're not being paid by hour. And then on top of that, I just did a variety of other volunteer positions that had some work, I guess, variety to it, but not anything that I was being paid for.
Okay, Matt, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Matt Zinnick. I'm a freshman at Portland State University, and I'm currently getting my English major. Tell
us a little bit about yourself. Do you have a job?
I do. I work part-time at Subway.
Do you like your job at Subway?
It's okay. It's not really. It's not like a lot of work, but you know, it's I'm just making money, so I like it. It's okay.
Do you find your job rewarding and fulfilling in any way?
Not really. I just kind of make sandwiches. And stock food and stuff. There's not really like rewarding aspect to like helping the public or like helping people to the job. So not really.
How does this job compare to jobs that you've had in the past?
You mean like in terms of like being rewarding?
Rewarding.
Okay. Well, in the past, I've worked as like a camp counselor, and I've also done lots of nonprofit work, and that's really rewarding because you're like directly kind of dealing with people, helping people. I really like kids, so I really like working as a camp counselor. Versus my job at Subway now, those would probably be a lot more rewarding. I mean, that's definitely like more in line with the kind of work that I want to do for the rest of my life. I definitely don't want to be working at Subway until I'm 45. So.
As for the monetary situation with your job, do you find that rewarding?
Like, am I making enough money?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I'm making minimum wage, and so, as a student, that's fine. I mean, if I was working at like a restaurant, I would probably be making a little more with like tips and such. But, I'm getting by on the money that I'm making from Subway, so.
Do you believe that your job at Subway will help you further your careers in the future?
I mean, I guess it'll give me restaurant experience. It'll give me experience just like being in the workforce. Do I think that I'm going to learn some kind of like life lesson by making sandwiches for people? Probably not. But I mean, I'm sure, how, like when you have more things on your resume, you're always going to look like a better candidate. So in that sense.
I'm a freshman. My name is Riza. I'm a freshman here, and my major is health science. And yep, I'm from Roseburg, Oregon, originally from Portland.
Yourself. Do you have a job right now, Riza?
Yeah, I'm a photographer at Vanguard, and I've been working there since the beginning of November last year.
So tell us a little bit about what you do there.
For Vanguard, as a photographer, we meet up every Monday and we have a meeting, and we have an assignment packet that goes around a circle, and we get to put our initial next to the assignment that we want. So next to the assignment has like the writer's info, the date is due, and the detailed information about what the assignment is. So after we get our assignments, we have to contact the writers, like email them or call them. Then we have to shoot what the writers usually want us to shoot. And for each shoot, it's like the maximum is 3 hours-ish. We can't really exceed that 3 hours to take the photo shoot.
Do you like your job at the Vanguard?
In the beginning, it was really fun. The photo editor was super outgoing and really loved her job. But then we had a new photo editor that's been photo editor like 2 years ago. And he's really really strict, and he kind of made the job not that fun. And since he became photo editor, I wasn't having as much fun.
Would you say that you would find your job rewarding for people to see your pictures in the Vanguard every month?
It's mostly rewarding for me, because most people don't know who that little subscript on a photo is, but seeing my photo like in a front cover makes my day. Yeah.
Would you say that this job is more rewarding compared to the other jobs that you had when you were in Roseburg?
My other jobs in Roseburg were just mostly simple jobs. This job is actually something that interests me, so it's pretty, yeah, it's more rewarding.
Would you say that your job is financially rewarding?
For photography, it pays pretty well, but if I were to have like a waitressing job or like just a retail job, I would make way more money and be less stressed about getting my photos in on time and contacting the writers and all that hassle.
If you had an option between doing what you're doing now and having some sort of alternative job like selling paintings or selling some sort of craft, would you rather do that or do what you're doing now?
If I had to choose one or the other one would be a lot easier because it had to set time, and for Vanguard I have to wiggle in my time, except having it just here, I'm gonna go to work. This one is like, oh, I'm in class right now, I should email the writer. So it's like a little bit, I just do my work. So the other job would be better, easier.
So Nick, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, I'm Nick, 20 years old, work at a bank, Chase Bank, Southwest 4th and Lincoln. Currently a sophomore here at PSU, and I'm from Detroit, Michigan. That's about it.
How long have you worked at Chase?
Since January, beginning of January.
Would you say that your job is rewarding?
Somewhat. When someone's actually having a problem and they come to me for help, then it's rewarding, but for the most part, not so much.
Would you say that your job is financially rewarding?
Yeah, I mean, it pays well, so I'm happy in that respect.
How does this job compare to other jobs that you've had before?
It's definitely a little easier. A lot of my other jobs are about manual labor, whereas this one isn't.
How rewarding is this job compared to other jobs that you have? Have you found other jobs more rewarding or less rewarding?
Less rewarding than this one.
If you had the choice between doing what you're doing now and doing some sort of alternate form of employment like painting and selling your paintings for that kind of profit, would that be something you'd be interested in doing?
Sure, why not? I don't know who would buy my paintings, I'm a terrible artist, but yeah, if they're willing to buy it, then sure.
So what does this all mean? Well, when we look at the data we receive from our surveys, we see a greater feeling of reward in those that are alternatively employed when excluding such factors as income. What we can gather from this is that alternative employment directly relates to a feeling of reward or happiness, whereas normal employment statistically relates to a feeling of disappointment or lack of reward.